Hello, welcome everyone. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. We have the most amazing guest. This is Judy Heany, everyone, the owner of Balance Cape May, which is a Pilates and yoga studio in my home state of New Jersey. Welcome, Judy.
Thank you, Kiki. It's nice to be here. I'm so excited to share this information with everyone and just share and celebrate my sort of win of the week, of the month, really, that
Yes,
month. Yeah.
yes, yeah. And I just want to name that the reason we decided, I mean, I've been wanting to bring you on for quite some time, but when you told me what your sales were for this month, which was, I believe I have the number in my mind, $19,339 for this month. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Like when you told me that a couple days ago, I was like, we need to celebrate this. And so I just want to name that for everyone watching, that this is not just to tell Judy's story, and you're going to get so much out of the things that Judy shares that were like the make or break up levels for her in these last several months. But this is, Judy, really about you and I celebrating this. And because we talk about it a lot in the mastermind that you're in, is that the energy of celebration creates more things to celebrate. So let's just say, this interview is a fucking party. This is what we're doing here.
Definitely. I feel like I'm a little bit I feel a little braggy, but it's just because I think I've lived in this other space of not celebrating my wins and just jumping into the next thing, because if you have an entrepreneurial mind, you kind of go from you're like, oh, that was great, now we have this thing to do. And I'm just really embracing sitting with, celebrating, and finding joy and the pause before the next thing. Of course I have the list of all the other things that I want to get done, and this is such a big win for me, and so amazing because I mean, we'll talk about this a little bit more, but I live in a beach town and it's dead in this time of year, dead. I'm open 2 days for classes. And to say that I've gone beyond tripling what I usually make in a pandemic. That's just what? Who does that, right? It's crazy.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
So I have a question about that. I'm so excited that you're bringing this in. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are going on that are mind blowing. One is that you tripled your normal March revenues in a pandemic. But the other thing that's going on is you're working 2 days a week. You're going to the studio 2 days a week right now. I'm sure you do marketing and stuff on some of the other days. And also in the last 6 months, you've really started to verbalize and claim this desire that you've had for a long time of creating a studio business that's seasonal, because it is a beach town. And so it's the reason why the 19K is so mind-blowing is partially because you are doing it on your own terms in a way that is breaking all the rules. Am I right?
Yes, 100%. Because my old mindset was, you have to show up every day. You have to teach X number of class, or at least offer them to even have that amount of money come into you. Just be able to attract that amount of money. And it's I said this to you, and I don't even have a lot of people coming to the studio. The average numbers of people in the class are 5 or 6 right now. And I was how do you have a $3,000 day like I had 2 days ago with 6 people coming to class? That's just a quantum physics weird thing, stepping away from what we talk about a lot is hours for dollars. I was this is nothing to do with hours for dollars, or even physical bodies in the studio. Some of them are on Zoom too, so it's not even I have 6 people in the physical class. It's crazy, mind-blowing stuff. And I think it's all because I just set this intention of, I really want $1,000 days. I really want to sit in the energy of that's what I envision in my life, of having that amount of money coming towards me and just embracing it, and however it comes, right? So eventually there'll be some classes going on more in the summertime, like there usually is, but there's this big exhale, there's the activity and all the drawing in of the energy, and then at the end I never got to embrace the way that the rhythm of the town goes, where there's this big exhale and everyone relaxes. I was constantly trying to make my business a year-round business in the non-year-round place. but so it didn't work. So like that for me is the biggest win, is to know that I don't have to go full throttle and be in the studio all the time teaching. I can make space for spending time with my family or working on projects that I've always wanted to do. Like, you know, like I've talked to you about courses and offering retreats and those kinds of things, and just having the space to craft really good stuff that you're proud of and be creative and sit in that energy, which I never really like let myself do because I was like always teaching. And now it's like,
there's no space for creativity and for feeling like inspired and then taking action on the inspiration when you're working so hard. Yeah.
And I think like the other piece of it, I know you want to keep it short because I'll just ramble, but the other piece of it is like, I think your stuff is so amazing, and you came into my life at a time where I just really needed what your addition about like embracing marketing and making it like fun. Like I did 4 posts and 2 emails and drew in like $19,000. Like in that week, I drew in, I don't know, like $9,000. Half of it was in 10 days, right? So that was like nearly like my $1,000 a day vision just came to me because I was consistent, and it was kind of fun because it was like a little bit of sharing about who I am and what I'm about, and some of the things I think about when I think about my practice and why I like it. And at the end, kind of like, if you like this, then do this. And it wasn't like slimy marketing, like the 10 class pass is on sale now, get it before it goes away, like, which nobody really wants to embrace. But, you know, I was thinking about what I like about Cape May and what drew me here. So I wrote a post with a picture of myself and my sister with my grandfather on the beach in New Jersey when I was like 3. And I was like, I've always been a beach girl, and Cape May has a special place in my heart because of this, 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 and this. Maybe you don't know these things. And, you know, I'm just grateful to be here. And this is my 16th season, and we have this pre-sale thing. I'd love to see you. Like, that's just so much more fun than like putting up your, like, please buy my 10 class pass. You know, like, so I think like leaning into marketing, that's like, it's way more fun to like say like, hey, this is what I'm about.
It's authentic. I mean, so let's lift this up, because I know my audience who's watching this either live or on the replay is like, wait, no, how did you draw in like a 3K day? Like, so first of all, I just want to acknowledge to all y'all that in this next 2 sentences, you're going to figure out what the strategies were. We're going to share them with you. But the truth is, it wasn't really strategy that allowed for this. Like Judy, I've been working with Judy more or less for a year. And Judy does like very deep looks within work all the time. Like Judy is always in a process of like, wow, look at me do that thing that I always do that like limits me or squashes me or puts me down. And so in a moment, we're also going to talk about the energetics, because truly it's the energetics, Judy, and your continual commitment to sparkling up your mindset around abundance, around trust, around following your intuition, around, you know, doing the things that are uncomfortable for you, but because you know that it's like spiritual growth, you know, it's like, it's mostly that created like a 20K month, you know? So yeah, so I want to acknowledge what you just said. So strategy wise, you simply showed up in more authenticity in your messaging, like really from the heart and just from your truth. You also have really learned the mechanics of like a really great call to action, even if it's not super thorough. It's just like, if you're liking what I'm serving up, here's some ways you can work with me. It's like very genuine and natural. So you actually have understood, like you've really learned how to show up, how to be authentic, how to do marketing from a place of pleasure and fun, which by the way is like totally like contagious. Like your audience feels that too, and they want to be a part of it. How to do a call to action. You know, you did this on your email list and you did it in your socials, really. And that's what created that 9K week. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. And like the other crazy thing, which hardly ever happens, is I don't have a receptionist. I am like a business of one most of the year. There's like 3 people that have never even stepped foot in the studio and bought a 10 class pass. And what I was telling Kiki is before is the 10 class pass sale used to be like 10 for 100, 10 for 108. This year it was 10 for 170, which is almost double. So I sold less and made twice as much. And I got people who have never even been in the studio buying stuff. I had one person buy 6 months unlimited, never been in the studio.
Okay, so can we transition to this?
Like,
Yeah, there's one other strategy PCLs need to understand. Judy's been really fascinating in the last like 2 months, I would say, Judy, on how to create offers that sell, like how to create packages and prices and offers that actually inspire people to take action. She told me about 2 or 3 months ago that she had this intent to, if she had this many customers per year and normally they would spend $100 in the season, she wanted them to spend $600 in the season. So she was like really fascinating on like, how could I create containers of support that would, number one, be priced in a way that communicated your value. So we worked on pricing, but also we worked on like, how do we package these things up where they're really sexy to your audience, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, $697 for 6 months is really not that much when you get Pilates and yoga on the beach and yoga in the studio. You get access and bar class, you get access to all that. And I think it's just, I've been talking about putting this out there for a few months, but I think this was the perfect month to put it out there. And I wasn't ready. And I kept like blocking everything, and everything just kind of came together and worked out really well. So I think that that's a little piece of it too, like trusting your gut about when to go for it, and being not so much like formulaic, logical, strategic, but more like sitting in the energy of like, okay, it's ready to come out, and I'm ready to put it out there, and I'm really clear about it's going to be this offer and it's going to be this offer, and that's it. And the piece of it for me, which we've been talking about boundaries a lot in the masterminders.
Yep.
And I think like this boundary of saying like September 30th, all these things end. And I think it's going to make people come in and use them, because that's part of one of the things I really wish for people is that when they buy this stuff, they come in and use it because it's amazing stuff. And I love hearing from people and saying like, I can pick up my grandchild now. My balance is so much better. I feel so much stronger, or I'm so much more calm. Like all those things are starting to come together more when people show up. So that was part of the packaging, was like, how can we get people to give the money up front so that they feel compelled to use it and more attached to using it, because it has this expiration date that's a little tighter than a year or 365 days or whatever it might have been before. So that's one of my strategies. Yeah. But and I don't think I would have really done that without you. I think I would have been like, that's okay. Awesome. Yeah.
Well, isn't that cool though, that the boundaries, the boundaries are first and foremost coming from a place of you creating a business that actually aligns with your desires and what you want for your life. But an effect of having these like stronger containers of support and these stronger boundaries around expiration dates is that it holds people accountable. Their investment of $700 makes them want to show up more than if they just buy, a $15 drop-in. So it's interesting that when you prioritize what you want for your life and your business, for your pricing, and for you to be like done on September 30th, essentially for the year, like it also makes it more attractive and effective for your students. It's kind of mind blowing how it works that way, right?
Yeah, because I feel like it was like this energy is like, let's go, people, like come in and use it now, and it just kind of like worked. And I think using marketing that wasn't like, I feel like my old marketing was kind of needy, like, hey, here's my thing, please buy it. And now it's kind of like, hey, this is my stuff. This is what you'll get. This is why I do it. And if you like it, like, here's a way to join me for it. That's way more, it's sales, but it doesn't feel salesy. Right.
Yeah.
And I think I've gotten like a lot of clarity around that with you, from the, what is it? Align. I always say it wrong. Align your medicine with your marketing, or align your marketing with your medicine.
Yeah, my marketing course. Yeah, that's an amazing course. Yeah, I love that. Amazing. Well, okay, so
yeah, that one was really like a game, really helpful.
Yes, absolutely. And so
I just keep talking.
I know. Well, so that you all know. Well, this is how we talk. Me and Judy are always so excited to talk to each other. So Judy has done my marketing course, has done, did my 12-week Thriving Studio Owner program. So really put the foundations into her business, last year during the beginning of the pandemic, because I think you joined in March, which was insane. And then came back to me around September or October and was like, let's go. I want to do this again. I want to get back into one of your containers. I remember you told me I want to do 30K months. And it was so crazy. You were like, is this even possible? I want to do 30K months. And so you came into the Purpose and Profits Mastermind. And so I want to shift a little bit, Judy, because I'd love to hear what you feel like in terms of your mindset, whether it's money mindset, abundance mindset, or maybe entrepreneur mindset. What has shifted for you since you came into the mastermind?
Oh gosh, like so much. And it's not like one thing. I think that this, like working with you and being around other people other studio owners going through the pandemic together at that moment of it all coming together and like having like your sort of like calm, I don't know if you felt calm, but like calm voice of reason and like, hey, we can do this. Like, I'm not shutting down. I'm just going to go on Zoom. And in like 2 days, you're like, here's how I'm doing Zoom. Here, why don't you guys try this? Let's talk about it. Here's a forum for all of you to like discuss things, which was like amazing because I'm kind of isolated down here. I'm like the only, there's one other yoga studio owner in my town. And then the next one's like 10 miles up. And I would say I'm the biggest user of like social media and marketing. So it was great to have that container. So like to be around people who are trying to like keep it together and do more, ask for more and do better was a big piece of my mindset. Like I can do it, they're doing it. Right. So that was a big piece of it. And then just sitting with this, doing the work of sitting with like, what do I really want out of life? And sometimes when we're on the treadmill of doer, and we're just teaching the classes and we're trying to think of the next thing to keep the doors open and bring X amount of dollars in, we don't think like, what if I sat down and took a deep breath and really thought about my life as the big picture? What do I really want? What are the things that I want? And you can think of them in like number terms and money terms. You can think of them in energy terms or time terms. But I did like sat down a couple of times since I met you and rewrote it and wrote it out and like really thought and tried to craft like what would my typical work week look like if I really felt like I was completely in control of my time, which we all are, but we pretend like we're not. Like, and to get out of that idea of like hard work equals more money, because it doesn't all the time, right?
No.
So
I mean, you
I
just
think
proved
like,
that to yourself this past month, you know?
yeah. So like shifting out of I'm all alone by being a part of a bigger group, and this person did it, I can do it too. Shifted my mindset. And then sitting with just like, what is it that I really like? What's my heart's desire? What is my soul longing for? And what do I want to do with this business? How can I do both? Like, how can I offer like healing to people with yoga, Pilates, massage, and also like build the life that I really want? And I don't think I really sat with that stuff for a really long time because I was in like there's personal reasons. Like I was in a bad marriage. I went through a divorce. I went through like a battle with cancer. So like there was just this like survival mode for a long time. So I think I let go of the luxury of sitting in that idea of like what's possible. Anything's possible. What do you really want? I was just kind of like, I must do this and get it done and then do the next thing so that the doors stay open, there's food on the table, like that survival mode. And it really kind of like sucks your joy and energy out. So sitting with this like whole like dreamy envisioning like what I really want with my life, I think has like opened the doors to abundance, time wise, energy wise. And the moments where I'm like, I'm really tired, I want to lay on the couch for a bit and just like chill out and watch like some mindless show. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna not do like the thing that I think I really should do and do the thing that I really feel like I just want to do right now because it makes me happy. Or walk my dog, or smell some or look at the ocean, whatever it is, because it's those things that like feed and fuel our soul and get us back to being creative and have the energy to keep going. So there's like those three things really, and like books you recommend and taking time to read them and making them a priority, and journaling like every day. I write down like my 10 crazy top goals. And then I write down like 10 gratitudes of the things that happened the day before. And I really think like sitting in that energy of focusing on like what you want to do and then what happened, and brings in, just like celebrating brings in more celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Being grateful and looking at things in an abundant sense and a creative sense brings in more creativity, abundance, joy. And like, it seems a little counterintuitive. Like, you think that you should just be working hard. The harder you work, the better everything is going to get. But it doesn't work that way. Like,
It
you
does
really
not
have
work
to,
like that.
like you're doing this week coming up, you have to carve out time and make it a priority to be like joyful and have fun and relax and rest, so that you can like kind of dive in and do the work when you need to. Yeah. So those are all
Yes.
big things.
And oh my God, I love it. You're dropping wisdom bombs all over
It's a lot.
this
Yeah.
live stream. It's beautiful. Yeah, amazing. So, okay, last question for you is like,
Yeah.
um, I want to acknowledge just this one more piece, which I feel like is important, is like, you've been plugging along. You've been like, you show up, you show up to all the group coaching calls. You always show up to our one-on-ones. You always have like your idea of your questions, and you're very clear also about like, sometimes I'll say, would it feel more supportive to you if I did this, or if I helped you with that? And you'll be like, no, this is the kind of support I need. So you're very consistent. And I want to acknowledge that, there's some other people in the masterminds and some of my other clients that like are making like 40K months and 60K months, and like, I know it's brought you up against some of your stuff of like, am I doing enough, or why isn't this happening quickly enough? So I feel like I want to celebrate what you've just done this past month, but it also feels so important to acknowledge that like, you have had to do a lot of your own sort of like, I am enough and like worthiness work here, and also just being persistent and trusting the process. Like, I feel like you've been so graceful in a way at like trusting the process, and that your time would come. Although I'm sure there were times where you were like, what the fuck, why isn't this working for me? So can you speak to anybody in the audience who's like going through that, is like, God, it's just not coming together yet? Like, can you speak to them on like how they can approach that, or like whatever helped you move through those periods so that you could actually come to this place where you're reaping the rewards of all your efforts?
Okay. I think that, yeah, when I jump on the call, I've kind of like retrained my brain to say like, I'm really happy for that person. And once I like say that
Mm,
in my head, when you again, like when I shifted out of being like jealous or less than,
mhm,
because sometimes people
mhm.
do these great achievements, you're like, that's so great. What's wrong with me? No, like just
Right.
sit with like, that's so great. I'm happy for them. And then
Mm,
know that like, if they can do it, I can do it. Right. And if I get frustrated about the timeline, because I'm not a patient person, if I get frustrated with the timeline, I just kind of like try to retrain my brain to say, it's coming. Like just keep focused on what you want, what you feel you need, keep working towards it. It's coming. And just really believe it's coming in the timeline that it needs to be. Just because I have an agenda and I think it should have happened like 10 years ago doesn't mean and it's not. Instead of being frustrated, I try to trust that it's all coming into alignment in the way that it needs to be. And if there's something that I'm not doing that needs to be done that's preventing it, like if I'm self-sabotaging, then I'll just sit with that and just write out like, why am I not doing X? I think if I do
mm,
X, things will flow again. What's blocking me from doing X? And then I'm just kind of write about it. And I really feel I had a lot of resistance about journals. And I'm gonna tell you, I have filled like 5 journals front to back since I met you. And
what?
I feel like just writing it on, yeah, 5.
That's so funny.
So, some of them are class outlines and stuff, but like notes and feelings and just putting it on paper and really like being in the sense of looking at it, I think is really helpful and powerful for me, because it's one thing to think it in your head or to say it to someone, but when you write it down, it really makes it real. And then sometimes just writing it down, you're like, well, that's just ridiculous, right? Like you can just say
Right.
to yourself, oh, I see that that's a fear I have, or I'm afraid, but is that real? That's not really what's happening. Is there something deeper? I can write more. But it's really helped, like a cathartic to like put words on a page, look at it, and then I think it really is helpful to process through, because there's a whole bunch of things that came up for me that I didn't even didn't even like put the puzzle pieces together until either I was talking to you or I was like writing it out. I'm like, oh, like, and it's a lot of like childhood stuff or like stuff that happened in high school or, you know, the first doves that went awry. And it really has nothing to do with trying to sell a 10-pack. It really has something to do with
right. We think it doesn't. Right.
Yeah.
But like that energy is what's blocking you from selling the 10-pack. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
it's like that combination of things, like just sitting in the energy of like being happy for people when they achieve things and really like sitting with joy and being grateful, and also writing down things and then like looking at when I'm getting blocked. I think that those are the things that like, and then and it gives me clarity. So I really think that this was about being clear of the timing. I felt like it was a good time. I felt really like these are the two things I really want to sell and I think that they would do well and I feel good about, because I think it's going to draw in the type of person that I want. Oh, that's the other thing. Working with you, I've done this before. Working with you has really helped me get clear about like, who's my person? Who do I really want to work with and I really enjoy? And can I let go of the other people and just be like, hey, there's a YouTube for that. Or like, there's a studio 10 miles up the road I think you'd really love.
Go there.
And they would really help you. And like, you don't need to work with everybody. And there's a visceral, like, when certain people walk into the studio, I just know we're not a good fit and it's okay. Whereas like, I think we all go through a phase of like, everyone's my person. I'm marketing to everyone. I can help everybody. What did you say? Like, if you can breathe,
if you
and
have
move your body,
I can help
you. No, you don't.
No.
Like,
It's not
I'm
true.
Sure there's people. No, I'm sure there's people who really can't stand me, think I'm a bitch, and like, you know, I'm greedy or whatever their story is about me, which isn't true for me. But they're not my people. My people like appreciate the fact that, you know, I showed up. You know, I've been doing this a long time. This is 21 years of teaching yoga and Pilates. That's a long freaking time. And I've had this studio. This is my 16th season. And I show up. I consistently show up for people. And I think a lot of people are appreciating that. You know, so they show up.
I mean, I want to say that this piece you're sharing, a lot of the pieces you're sharing actually today have really been about abundance mindset. I mean, this is actually what you're really talking about. If we could put a title on all of it, the gratitude, the being happy for other people instead of going into those like just knee-jerk reactions of jealousy or like not enoughness. And then this other piece of not needing everyone to like you, not needing every potential lead to turn into a customer if they're not aligned. That's actually abundance mindset. That's saying, I don't need, it's okay if it doesn't work for us to work together. There's plenty of people for me, and there's actually probably a better place for you, you know? So I just want to congratulate you on all this deep inner work that you're doing, but also all the outer work that you're putting into play, you know, and really getting visible and more sort of powerful and certain in your marketing and your offers and such. It's just so, I just love working with you. We have the best time ever. So thank you, Judy. And, you know, I just want to say to everybody watching, like, yeah, my pleasure. To everyone watching, if you are ready to play at this level, message me and we can talk about, you know, do you need the marketing course like Judy first? Do you need, you know, the TSO course for just the fundamentals? Or do you need to actually work with me on these deeper pieces, which we can do in a private or like Judy's in like a hybrid private and group coaching container? So message me if you're ready and we can work that out together. Judy, can you share with the people's like your Instagram or your Facebook or your website? Like where can they just stalk you a little bit and learn more about your business?
Well, you can go to balancekatemay.com or Instagram for that. Business is at balancekatemay. Mine is Judy Heany _CSV yoga _USA. And my Facebook page, my personal page is Judy Heany. So that's how you can find me all over the place. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Thanks so much, Kiki. Yeah, I'm everywhere.
I love it. Yeah. And I'll talk to you on the other side of my vacation. And
have a great time.
You are going on vacation too. You're going to Hawaii next month. So yes we're going to do our vacations in April.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye.